Hi everyone, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga, and my name is Michelle Chua. For today's hip opening and spinal twisting flow practice, grab a couple of yoga blocks and a strap just in case, and let's begin in Sukhasana, which means easy pose, a way to turn out the thighs in front of you, and see if you might be able to cross your shins at the center of the shins, bringing the knees about hips distance apart. And if it helps, you can sit up on any of your props, elevating your pelvis so the knees can drop more comfortably. So here is a very succinct quote from one of my favorite mindfulness teachers, Thich Nhat Hanh. He said, "Your mind is like a piece of land planted with many different kinds of seeds, seeds of joy, peace, mindfulness, understanding, love, anger, fear. The quality of your life depends on the seeds you water." And it brings us back to the intentionality that resonates throughout the different aspects of the yoga practice, being conscious of how we regulate our energy through our breathing, in aligning our physical body, and then being aware of our own minds and taking the reins of our minds. Because as we know, what we focus on repeatedly grows in our reality. So what are you focusing on? What are you choosing to grow? Let's begin the practice. Sitting here now, let your body be still. Pay attention to what you're experiencing through the sensations in your body. Noticing your physical state. Bring your awareness to your breathing and just breathe naturally. Sensing your energetic state. Now notice your mind. Observe its activity. And sense the way you feel mentally and emotionally. What's one thing that you can offer gratitude for before setting your intention? And from this heart space, begin to clarify what you are choosing to water. What seeds are you watering in your inner garden through this practice? What qualities are you celebrating or strengthening about yourself? Begin to clarify your intention, your sankalpa. Then making an offering of your practice, I invite you to choose someone, a community or cause that you care about to dedicate this practice to today. And let's open the practice chanting together to create resonance. 3 ohms. First, inhale fully, fill up your lungs and your belly, and then open the mouth, release any stagnant air. And then to chant, inhale again. Slowing your breath down. Continue to breathe just through your nose. And while closing your lips, softly narrow the back of your throat. Let's begin the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, a way to regulate your nervous system to a state of balance and calm while steadying your mind. So as you continue to breathe like this, sustain the in-breath as slowly as the out-breath, creating a very soft whispering sound. Tune into that sound as much as you can as a way to bridge your mind with your body and the present moment. And as you keep that sound rhythm going, please come down onto your back and bend your knees towards your chest. Start to move your legs to the slow pace of your breath, circling your thighs externally as you abduct them and bringing them back to your midline. Go in both directions a few more times. Then step your left foot on the ground and turn out your right thigh as you flex your right foot, cross the ankle over your left thigh like a figure four shape. Press your right hand on the top inner side of your right thigh, gently splaying your right thigh open while keeping the back of both hips, both shoulders on the ground. Notice any sensations, especially around your pelvis here. If enough sensations are happening, stay here. Otherwise, thread your right hand between your thighs and with both hands, catch hold of your left thigh or shin and gradually bring the left leg closer to your chest while splaying your right thigh further open. Tune into one more deep breath here and thread the needle. Now slide your right leg to wrap all the way over your left leg like eagle pose, and then drop both knees to the left all the way to the ground so that your right hip stacks on top of your left hip. Splay your right arm open behind you to the right side of the room and look over your right shoulder as you encourage it to drop towards the ground. Tune into the soft ocean wave sound in your breathing as the breath glides past the back of your throat. One more deep breath here. And then come back to center. Uncross the legs and step your right foot on the ground. Turn out your left thigh at the hip and flexing your left foot, cross that ankle over your right thigh like a figure four shape. Start by pressing your left hand on the top inner side of your left thigh, gently splaying it open as you ground the backs of both hips. Notice what sensations you're experiencing here. It might be different than the first side. If plenty enough is happening, stay right here. Otherwise, thread your left hand between your thighs and take hold of your right leg with both hands, gradually bringing it closer as you continue to splay your left thigh open and rest your head and shoulders down. One more deep breath. Now wrap your left leg as much as you can over the right leg and drop both of your knees completely to the right side. Stacking your left hip on top of your right hip, splay your left arm open behind you towards your left wall and look over it. Encourage your left shoulder to sink closer to the ground. A supine spinal twist. So like I mentioned, we're going to be externally rotating the thighs in what's often called hip openers, as well as twisting along the spine. You want to make sure that when you're twisting, you're doing so mostly across your waistline. So that's why we've stacked both hips, keeping the pelvis still, and then we're rotating the rib cage. Then from here, roll onto your back and uncross your legs. Hug your bent knees into your chest and begin to rock and roll forward and back several times, building momentum until eventually you rise up to stand at the top of your mat in mountain pose. Separating your feet, your hips width apart and parallel to each other. Join your hands at your heart and take a moment to rename your intention for this practice. Excuse me. And let's begin our first series of sun salutations, Surya Namaskar to the breath. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and coil your chest up in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow from your hips, maybe bending the knees to help lengthen your spine. Plant your fingertips on the ground. Inhale, step your left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge and look up. Holding your breath, step into plank pose, top of a push-up. Legs straight or knees down. Exhale, lower your knees, then your chest, and your chin, hugging the elbows towards your ribs. Inhale, slither all the way to the floor and gently coil your chest up into Cobra pose. Exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb and lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, dropping your shoulders and lifting your chest, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your palms to meet at your heart in Padasana. Second side, one more time. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, plant the fingertips, step your right knee back, Anjaneyasana, look up. Hold your breath as you step into your version of plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin in Ashtangasana, a back bend. Inhale, slide to the ground and coil your chest up to Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lift your hips back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb, lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands in Padasana. Second series of Surya Namaskars. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and coil your chest up again. Exhale, bow from your hips. Press on your shins, blocks or the floor, and inhale, lengthen your spine parallel to the floor, Ardha Uttanasana. Step into plank pose, and as you exhale, engage your abdomen while you glide forward. Bend your elbows to hug your side ribs in Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower to Cobra or flip your toes here and inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Let's be still for 3 breaths there. Listen in. At the end of the 3rd exhalation, walk or float to the front of your mat. Press with your hands. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise into Urdhva Hastasana with a back bend. Exhale to Padasana, hands together at your heart. Let's take one more of the sequence. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank and lower, or lightly jump to Chaturanga Dandasana and take it through your Vinyasa on your own. When you arrive at downward facing dog, pause, steady your gaze or drishti, and rebalance 3 deep breaths. After the 3rd, walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let your feet come together to touch, and let's take our last series of Surya Namaskars, starting in chair pose. On your next inhale, bend your knees together to touch and maybe graze the floor with your fingertips sitting that low. Raise your arms in Utkatasana, chair pose. Then exhale, shift your weight forward and bow, Uttanasana. Press with your hands and lengthen. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank or float to Chaturanga. Take it through Vinyasa. At downward facing dog, keep your hips even in height. And inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, gently step the foot beside your right thumb and spin your back heel down. Facing forward, inhale, rise up into warrior one. As you exhale, lower from plank and finish your vinyasa. Back to downward dog. With hips leveled, inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale the foot beside your left thumb and drop your right heel. Inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower, continue on to your vinyasa. Breathing in as you lift your chest. Breathing out to enter downward dog. Then pause there for 3 deep breaths again, cultivating stillness and focus. Noticing the thoughts you entertain and the seeds you thus water. When you finish the 3rd out breath, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Padasana. Last time, same sequence. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank or float back. Insert your vinyasa. At downward dog, inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb, drop your back heel. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Take it all the way through just like that, into side two. Pausing in downward dog for 3 deep breaths. Remembering that you have options to vary your practice as you're listening to your unique body. If you need to rest, if you need to take a different variation or pace, that's always an option. If you're ready to wrap up the sun salutation, after the exhalation, walk or float to the top of your mat. Then inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend your knees together and inhale, sit low in Utkatasana. Exhale, Padasana. Separate your feet hips distance or wider apart, parallel to each other, and reach your hands behind your back to clasp or hold a strap between your hands. Then roll your shoulders down and inhale, look up. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Feel free to bend the knees. Try to find the fullest length of your spine as if you have a flat back, completely dropping your skull as you tilt your weight forward. Let's stay a few breaths, stretching the arms away from your lower back to open the front of your shoulders and chest. Bend your elbows slightly to lift your shoulders away from your neck as you relax your jaw. Notice what your energy is like now. If you're feeling full of energy, you might float back into a vinyasa or take some cat-cows. If you're feeling somewhere midway or a little lower on energy, you might step directly to downward facing dog. Let's meet in downward dog. Once there, inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend that knee and turn out your thigh at the hip. Breathing in, tack your left outer hip further back. As you exhale, hug your right knee outside your right shoulder. Then step your right foot beside your right thumb in a high lunge. Press to your feet, inhale, rise up into crescent pose. As you drop your tailbone, lift your two frontal hip bones slightly towards your lowest front ribs and turn both of your frontal hip bones to equally face forward. Then spin your back heel down and align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot, bending your right knee directly on top of your right heel. Rotate your right outer hip under your body to splay your right knee open towards your right pinky toe, while firming the top of your left thigh bone back to balance off the pelvis. Open your arms and let's enter extended side angle pose. Draw your pelvis sideways towards the rear wall and reach your right hand horizontally forward as far as you can past the right knee. Then either place your right forearm on your right thigh to push off of, or place the right hand on the right side of your right leg on a block of the floor, firming the right arm and right leg against each other. As you raise your left arm up, the extended version of this pose is rotating your left outer upper arm to face your left wall, while extending your left arm overhead towards your front wall. Now drawing both of your shoulder blades down your back ribs, lengthen your torso towards the front wall and tack your right hip crease back towards the left outer foot as you spin your chest slightly to face the sky. The Sanskrit name of this posture is Uttita Parshvakonasana. Let's stay a few more breaths, steadying your gaze. Gaze in front of your right foot. Let's prepare for half moon pose. Walk your right hand 6 inches forward and out to the right corner of your right pinky toe. Drag your left foot forward and flex the foot off the ground, turning your chest completely to face your left wall. Like earlier, tack your right hip crease back towards your left outer foot and stretch your torso forward towards the front wall. Ardha Chandrasana. One more deep breath. As you exhale, slowly step the left foot back, bending the right knee. Inhale to Peaceful Warrior, side bending towards your rear wall as you raise the right arm overhead. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. Pause and breathe. Notice how you feel now. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, bend that knee and turn out the thigh at the hip. Inhale, tack your right outer hip back. Exhale, hug the left knee outside your left shoulder in plank. Then step the left foot beside your left thumb in a high lunge. Inhale, rise up to crescent lunge. As you drop your tailbone, slightly lift your frontal hip bones, scissoring the left hip back and bringing the right hip forward. Square your hips to face the front of the room. Spinning your right heel down, align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Bend your left knee right over the ankle and rotate your left outer hip under you as you firm the top of your right thigh bone back. Opening your arms, tack the crease of your left hip towards your rear wall while reaching your left arm past your left knee before either placing the forearm on your left thigh, right arm up, or the left hand on the left side of your left leg on a block of the floor, hugging the arm and leg against each other as you stack your shoulders over your left wrist. Now let's rotate the right tricep to face the right wall and extend the right arm overhead while drawing your two shoulders down your back. Rotate your chest slightly to face the sky. Extended side angle pose. Utthita Parshvakonasana. As you steady your eyes, let's listen to a few more deep breaths. Let's prepare for half moon by gazing at the ground in front of your left foot. Then walk your left hand 6 inches forward and out to the left corner of it. Drag your right foot forward, flex the foot off the ground as you turn your chest open to the right wall. Ardha Chandrasana. On your next exhale, gently step your right foot to the ground, bending your left knee. Inhale to Peaceful Warrior, side bend towards your rear wall, sweeping the left arm overhead. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. Deep breath in. Balance the exhale out. Keeping your hips leveled, inhale, raise your right leg from the inseam behind you. Keeping your shoulders leveled, exhale, cross the right knee to tap your left outer upper arm in plank. Step your right foot beside your right thumb and lower your back knee, raising your arms in a kneeling lunge. As you separate your legs hips width apart, see that your right knee is directly on top of your right heel. Then isometrically scissor the legs towards each other and lift your pelvic floor. Using your right hand, cup the top of your right thigh and inhale, lengthen your spine down the midline of your mat forward. Keep your pelvis still and at your waistline, exhale, twist to the right and see if you might be able to hook the left elbow to the outside of your right thigh and either join your hands in prayer or open your arms wide. If the hook is not happening, you can place your left hand either on a block on the inside of the leg directly under your left shoulder, raising the right arm up, or the left hand on the floor. So take the option that honors your body, but helps you to grow, whatever that means in your practice today. You might opt to lift the back knee off the floor, straightening the back leg. Keep making sure your two hips are even and you're not rotating your pelvis. You're rotating your rib cage. Breath by breath, draw the shoulders down your back. So steady your gaze here in twisting side angle pose variation for a few more breaths. Harita Parshvakonasana. Now, staying in your twist, if you can, look at the floor in front of your right foot and slowly step the left foot beside the right, entering twisting chair pose at the top of your mat. Tack your left hip back. Keep your knees evenly facing forward as you continue to sink the hips lower than your heart and rotate your rib cage, relaxing the shoulders down your back. Harita Utkatasana. Optional to enter twisting crow. If you practice arm balancing, plant the hands alongside the right edge of your mat with index fingers facing the right wall. Bend the elbows to face the left wall and press off your outer right thigh onto your upper arms, lifting your feet in the twist. Parita Bakasana. Whatever variation of the twist. Let's give it one more full breath. Come into chair pose. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, rise up. Join your hands at your heart. Keeping your breath steady. We're going to continue playing with balance here in a hip opener. So rotate your right thigh externally at the hip and cross your right ankle over your left thigh like a figure four, just like thread the needle at the start. Make sure you're flexing your right foot as you splay the right thigh open. Draw your hips back and down, little by little, firming the belly in. You might opt to raise the arms, you might opt to place your hands on blocks or place your hands on the floor. Optional to enter flying pigeon pose, which is another arm balance. If you're entering flying pigeon, bend the elbows like chaturanga, cross the right shin on top of both upper arms, wrapping the top of the right flex foot around the left tricep. Lean your chest forward by looking ahead of you, maybe lifting the left leg straight back, foot flexed. You could float into chaturanga and enter a vinyasa here. Otherwise, step back, take your vinyasa if you wish. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Steadying your eyes, steadying your breath. Listen to 3 cycles of breath. Keeping your hips balanced in height, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Keeping your shoulders balanced in height, exhale, cross the left knee to hug your right outer upper arm in plank. Step the left foot beside your left thumb and lower your back knee. Inhale the arms up in a kneeling lunge. Set your legs hips width apart and stack your left knee directly on top of your left heel. Then isometrically drag your legs towards each other and lift your pelvic floor. Use your left hand to cup the top of your left thigh down. And inhale, stretch your spine forward. Exhale, let your waistline twist to the left. See if it's possible to hook the right elbow outside of your left thigh and either join your hands in prayer or open your arms apart. If not, you can place your right hand on a block of the floor inside of the left leg, directly under your right shoulder as you raise the left arm and twist. If you did so on the first side, lift the back knee and straighten your back leg, making sure to re-level your hips, lengthening your spine as you breathe in, twisting a little more as you breathe out. Draw your shoulders down your back. Steady your gaze and tune into a few more breaths here in Parita Parshvakonasana. Stay in the twist if you can and look in front of your left foot. Step your right foot to touch the left, entering twisting chair pose at the top of your mat. Tack your right hip crease back so that your 2 knees are equidistant to the front of your mat, making sure you're not turning the pelvis, but you're turning the rib cage. Lift your heart higher than your hips. Parita Utkatasana. A few more breaths. Now, if you entered the arm balance of twisting crow, take that here with the hands along the left edge of your mat. Parita Bakasana. Come back to center. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, rise up to Padasana. Take a full breath. Then turn out your left thigh at the hip And flex your left foot as you cross left ankle over right thigh like a figure 4. Bending your right knee, splay your left thigh open while drawing your hips back and down. You might choose to raise your arms overhead, place your hands on blocks, or plant your hands on the floor, perhaps entering the arm balance, flying single pigeon. Whatever you choose, stay a few more breaths. You might take a vinyasa. You might pause in child's pose. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Deep, even breaths. Please come on down to your knees and prepare to practice your choice of dolphin pose or supported headstand. Setting up similarly with your arms. Extend your arms forward and rotate your triceps down. Interlace your fingers and place your elbows exactly shoulders width apart in the ground. For dolphin, keep your head off the floor, tuck your toes and lift your hips. Maybe lift a leg and switch. We'll meet in child's pose. For headstand, place the very crown of your head on the floor. Make sure you don't have any neck issues if you're practicing headstand. And either lift one leg at a time without swinging the leg, take it slowly, or both. Let's meet in child's pose in about 5 to 10 breaths. When you arrive in Balasana, child's pose, rest your arms any way you like and pause at least 3 breaths, keeping your head low. With an inhale, slowly roll your spine upright and let's prepare for supine hero's pose, opening the fronts of the thighs and hips. Choose to either sit on a block that's right between your ankles, or on your calves, or on the ground between your ankles. Making sure your feet are not turned out or turned in, but your toes are pointing directly behind you. Keep your knees on the ground, no wider apart than your hips distance. Lengthen your lower back by hugging your front ribs in and slightly lifting your frontal hip bones towards your lowest ribs. Little by little, see what's possible as you start to lean back. For about 10 breaths, exploring supine hero's pose, Supta Virasana. Continue to use Ujjayi Pranayama to help relax your body and mind and steady your focus. What seeds are you planting? What are you attending to? What are you focusing on and allowing to expand? One more deep breath right where you are. Take your time, slowly lifting your spine upright. Let's prepare for one round of camel pose. Please come to stand on your knees, tucking your toes behind you, separating your knees hips distance apart. Or for lower back support, hug a block by the skinniest width between your knees and thighs. Backstroke your arms and place your hands on your lower back with fingertips face down. Keeping your pelvis stacked right above your knees, lift your back ribs and draw your tailbone down. Inhale, lift your chest and peel the front of your shoulders behind you, hugging your elbows closer together. Coil your chest up for 5 to 10 breaths, your count. You might explore placing one hand to hold the heel behind it and then switching hands, or holding onto both heels, making sure you keep your hips forward, that you're not arching very much at the lower back. Focus on back bending right beneath your shoulder blades. Ustrasana. When you're ready to come out, place your hands on your lower back for support and slowly lift your spine upright. Let's meet lying on our stomachs, face down. While lying on your belly, slide your knees as close together as you can. Let's prepare for bow Dhanurasana. Bending both knees, reach back with your hands and catch your outer feet or your inner feet. The latter might feel more intense. If your feet are not reachable, keep your legs straight instead and you'll lift like this in locust pose. If you have your feet, kick them away from you as you pull them towards you, lifting your knees as you coil your chest up for 5 to 10 breaths, your count. Support your lower back by not splaying your knees wider apart than your hips distance. Try to kick even pressure into both hands with each foot. When you're done, drop everything and be still. Rest and observe your body for 3 breaths. Then gently press up to sit with your feet in front of you for our last back bend, bridge pose or upward facing bow. The latter, practice on your own, only if you're experienced and practice that usually. If you want some lower back support, you can hug the skinny width of a block again between knees and thighs. Separating your feet as wide apart as your knees, parallel to each other. Reach the arms down by your sides as you lie on your back. And place your heels close enough to your fingertips where you could almost touch the heels, but not quite. Ground your feet and shoulders, tilt your chin back. For bridge, lift your pelvis, slide the upper arms under your back, maybe interlace the fingers. Otherwise, upward facing bow, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Take your last back bend of choice for 5 to 10 breaths. When you gently lower your spine and pelvis, keep your feet on the floor and your knees bent, and drop your knees both side to side like windshield wipers a few times, helping to loosen the lower back and massage it. Separate your feet wider apart than hips distance. Separate your knees as wide apart as your feet. Keep your feet on the ground and drop both knees to the right, pointing your left knee down the center line of your mat. Notice the sensations in the left side of your pelvis at your psoas. If there's plenty happening there, stay here. If you need to feel some more, Lift your right foot and place the ankle just above your left knee. And maybe raise the arms overhead and hold opposite elbows. Start to slow down your exhales, a way to cool down and invite your nervous system to relax more deeply. Inhaling for 5 counts, exhaling for 7 counts. The end of this exhale, uncross the legs, separate your feet on the floor, wider than hips distance apart. Separate your knees as wide apart as your feet. Then drop both knees to your left side into an open twist. Point your right knee down the midline of your mat and observe the sensations, especially around the right side of your hips and lower back. If there's plenty of happening, stay here. Otherwise, add crossing the left ankle above your right knee, raising the arms, and switching the hold of the elbow on top. Inhale for 5 counts. Exhale for 7. Finish one more cycle of breath here. Uncrossing your legs, draw your bent knees into your chest and give yourself one last minute for any last cooling posture. Maybe you practice shoulder stand if you're free from neck injuries and know how to practice it. Maybe you practice supported shoulder stand with a block under your sacrum, lifting your legs straight up. Or maybe you come to sit into a seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Take your last posture before Shavasana for about 10 breaths. Make any final adjustments and place your body intentionally in a position in which it can completely relax in stillness. You can relax and let go of controlling your breath. Closing your eyes and dropping in to natural breathing, Shavasana. resting here a minute longer, keep your body still, your eyes closed, and become aware of the sensations you're now experiencing. Gathering your physical state of being. Very gently begin to rub your thumbs across your fingertips. Very subtle movements. Softly turn your head. And gradually roll over onto your right side, resting your head. As you lie on your side, become aware of how your body is naturally breathing, sensing the qualities of the breath. Tune into anything that may have shifted energetically for you. And plant your hands on the ground and slowly lift your body up, finding a comfortable way to sit for 5 minutes in meditation. I invite you to begin with a practice of alternate nostril breathing. Breath work itself can be a form of meditation. Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. We'll take 5 rounds and then begin our practice of mantra, chanting Om Asatoma, which is a chanting of peace, an evoking of clarity, an alignment to your inner being, your true nature. So start by resting your left hand on your lap in a mudra that you choose. Grounding one is Gyan Mudra, thumb and index fingers touching, palm face down. One that calls upon elevated consciousness is the same shape in the hand with a palm face up, Chin Mudra. Place your right hand in Vishnu Mudra, sticking out the thumb, pinky, and ring finger. As you close your lips, sustain your breath softly through the nose. We'll take 3 rounds together and 2 rounds on your own. So empty this breath, hold it out. Right thumb close, right nostril, inhale through left. Hold the breath. Right pinky and ring, close left nostril, exhale right. Hold the breath. Inhale right. Hold the breath. Thumb, close right, exhale left. Hold the breath. Second cycle. Inhale left, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Close left. Exhale right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Inhale right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Close right. Exhale left, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 3, 2, 1. Last cycle together. Inhale left, 6. Hold 3. Close left. Exhale right, 6. Hold 3. Inhale right, 6. Hold 3. Close right. Exhale left, 6. Hold 3. Continue 2 more cycles on your own. Take your time to finish the last cycle at your pace. And when you do, rest both hands in the same mudra on your lap. You might be closing your eyes, steadying your inner gaze at your third eye center, Ajna chakra. And let's begin our mantra meditation for the last minute or two of this meditation. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Let's chant that 3 rounds, and we'll end with Om Shanti Shanti Om. Lead me from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Om. So 3 rounds. Inhale to begin. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Notice how you're feeling now mentally and emotionally. And allow a moment to offer gratitude for anything you appreciate. Remember your intention, saying it out loud or mentally. And remember to whom or what you dedicated today's practice. Picture them receiving benefit from your efforts. Let's close chanting 3 Oms. Inhale deeply. Om. 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 Bow in towards your heart center, acknowledging the light within you. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. So stay tuned for our Friday Flow and Restore class. Our guided 10-minute meditation will be Yoga Nidra with crystal singing bowls for some deep relaxation.